Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not.
Indiana has numbers here. Clark looks to take advantage. Clark launches and hits a three.
At Iowa, she did everything. You know, however many shots you want to take, whatever you want to do with the ball, you can do. It's just a different ball game.
Watching Caitlin Clark in the WNBA will allow you to see every shot she took while living in Iowa, exciting spectators and packing venues at a rate never seen before. Considering that shooting the ball isn't Caitlin Clark's strongest suit, it was almost as if Cheryl Swoopes had never watched her. When she passes it, that is.
And you have some players like an Aaliyah Boston, an Alyssa Smith, a Kelsey Mitchell. Like, they got to have a rock.
And the roster of athletes she just described, take a look at Clark's assist breakdown and let me know if you believe they should be receiving the rock. Oh, and the record for the most assists in a season was just surpassed by Caitlin Clark. WNBA record, not rookie record. Actually, Kelsey Mitchell is hitting all-time highs in her career averages. Not just Swoopes, though several former WNBA players also believed Clark was about to have a harsh awakening.
Reality is coming. You look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
The players' cheap shots at her earlier in the season were the only thing bothering her. Some welcome to the league hijinks are understandable. You might believe that this card or a hip check was unavoidable in the game, but Clark could have twisted her ankle, injured her neck, or both. The list is endless, and these plays have to end immediately to protect both the league's existence and the fairness of the game. And after the team endured the longest playoffs drought in league history, Clark has guided the Fever to its first postseason since the players returned from the Olympic break. In order to understand how Clark, along with her great teammates, has helped them to an 8-4 record and 6th seed, let's go back at these last 12 games. I was immediately struck by how much more skillfully she shoots from the left wing. Given that she prefers to swing her arms up along her left side of her body, it becomes obvious that catching to shoot has the highest percentage. Her alignment is therefore better because she is on the left wing, and as you can see, these are all impromptu shots. She doesn't often get to just stand there, accept the pass, and let it fly. This is how difficult it is to protect her. She leaps across the court off 2 Iverson screens and swivels back to face the ball after knocking a pin down. The player cuts to the deep left wing, where she manages to get it off with an inch of room and drops it through the iron, after the defender daringly decides to move beneath the screen. 2 WNBA players are perplexed as to why Clark's Iowa opponents in the NCAA tournament failed to adequately guard her. And it turned into chef's kiss, as Clark possibly on purpose broke her own record with 7 made threes against Brittany Sykes' Mystics. And surprise, it turns out that stopping Clark from firing rounds to her left is far more difficult than most people realize. Even for these weathered WNBA veterans who believed they already understood how difficult the league was before Clark signed on. And we have 2 threes heading to her left in her face, and diamond is shields in the Chicago sky. So please, before you tweet, consider your words. This set is amazing. They sprint to make the most of the left side. Her defender makes the first error of going underneath the screen when the cross screen catches her. The 2 Lynx defenders obstruct each other during the handoff. And when she leaps into this beauty, Boston's final screen leaves her wide open. To break down a recent play, see how she sets up more than 5 layups for her teammates per game. That seems absurd to me. And Aaliyah Boston is the one who gets these dimes the most. She slips a ball screen on the left before receiving a double staggered screen across the lane in a beautiful set that they have for her. After that, Clark may work her magic to deliver the ball precisely where it has to go for an easy bucket. This is a similar play where Clark gets a ball screen out top and they send a guard to cross screen in the lane. Boston has a wonderful touch off the glass and is excellent at using her body to block the defender from the ball. Naturally, their main weapon is the pick and roll, and Boston frequently gets shots around the rim with a good, controlled spin move around the much smaller opponent for the lay-in because Clark consistently draws the attention of both defenders. With the same outcome, they reverse the direction of that ball screen on the left wing. Taurasi correctly moves up to bump the roller, but Boston is too physical for that, and Clark's wraparound bounce pass is too good. So the defender for Boston has to hedge in fear of Clark's jumper off the dribble. Take note of how she spins the ball to get it over Boston and then lets it drop directly into her hands, giving her the opportunity to finish clear of the defender. Perfect. Along with flattening the other 3 players along the baseline to give them room to work, They also established a deadly two-woman game up top. After a well-defended pick and roll, they immediately move into action, and Boston executes my favorite play, the fake handoff that gives Clark an assist and gives the Fever a vital bucket that lets him win in overtime. Mitchell and Clark have a great rapport, and it's amazing how often they click on the old dribble toward the backdoor cut in the corner. Mitchell's defender usually freezes under Clark's intense attention, and she is so swift and explosive that defeating her defender is seldom a problem. In addition, there will be many angry coaches on the opposing side who undoubtedly prepare their teams for this, but still frequently get burnt. This is in addition to the vision and accuracy of Clark's dishing. When their coupling is changing, that's when they become truly dangerous. One of the league's fastest players, Mitchell will find Clark with one of her trademark 50-foot strikes down the court for layups if their opponents don't start regaining ground quickly. Furthermore, applying early pressure to the defense will allow Clark to overcome it with minimal opposition and launch her deep bombing attack. Throughout the season, Cheryl Swoopes has been embarrassing herself in an attempt to minimize Caitlin Clark's contributions. What are statistics today? 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. That is absurd. That is absurd. That's a crazy amount. That's a crazy amount. But that doesn't seem dominant to me. There has only been one player in WNBA history to average these figures. The only other woman who has ever done this is Caitlin Clark. She also shattered the record at 9 for 3.100 seconds per game. Additionally, she has shattered the record for assists in a game, and Swoopes will attempt to argue that she lacks dominance. She is currently among the best 5 players in the WNBA, in my opinion. Granted, Clark did get off to a somewhat sluggish start after approximately 7 games, but UConn coach Swoopes Auriemma made this statement on June 6th after he had already begun to see some impressive performances. By claiming she would enter the WNBA and completely destroy it, her naive fan following disregarded the players. In fact, there were betting on what would be, say, her 3rd or 4th in betting odds to win MVP at a WNBA. These idiots ruin the reputation of women's basketball because they are so rude, ignorant, and foolish. With the entire season available for analysis, Caitlin Clark is very appropriately ranked 3rd in MVP odds. I find it hard to understand why he would have labeled someone as ignorant and foolish for projecting that she would finish 3rd in a race. Is it his embarrassment that he failed to recruit her after high school? Even if she was living next to Paige Becker's room at UConn, did he really think she wouldn't fit in? She is inexperienced. Sports enthusiasts, you could only regard the remarks as ignorant coming from someone who ought to know a lot more. There is no other way to describe a rookie who enters the league and quickly rises through the ranks of a team while setting records for both floor attendance and national attendance except dominant. If I were to fault her for anything, it would be her tirades directed at the officials. There have been certain calls that I can sympathize with, but since referees are only human, that occurs to everyone in all leagues. However, she's placed herself in danger. She will receive a 1-game suspension if she receives 1 more technical foul. She will undoubtedly improve her game and maintain a positive attitude once she finds a more productive way to interact with the officials. As a result, I predict that more of her long-range bombs will find the net, her sweet dimes will multiply, and her winnings and Hall of Fame credentials will rise.